Joined by Ginne-Rae Clay. She is the Executive Director of the Social Equity Council, which is a very important group of people who are making important decisions on making sure this whole process, when we give out these licenses for people who want to open a business involving recreational marijuana, that it is equitable. Can you first off just explain to us, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what happened this week, once again, what the Social Equity Council does and how many of you are there?
Okay, so thank you for having
me
today. So the Social Equity Council is responsible for standing up the adult use marijuana industry in Connecticut and to make sure that it is fair and equitable to those folks who have been disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs.
Right.
So we have a 15-member council, and they're made up of people from Connecticut, from all walks of life, folks who are attorneys, people who are in education, people who are community activists and community leaders, a great group, and they have been working very, very hard to set primarily what we have been doing is setting the criteria for who qualifies as a social equity applicant. So with all of that being done, we have now started working with the Department of Consumer Protection, and I just want to make clear that the Department of Consumer Protection is responsible for the licensing. The council is responsible for the equity piece of it and ensuring that half of the licenses go to those folks who qualify as social equity applicants.
So what happened this week? There was a significant step that we reached earlier this week where 16 preliminary applications were at least granted or awarded. Can you explain that process and how it's pretty early?
So it is pretty early, and the licenses were not awarded. What happened this week on Tuesday at the council's meeting is they voted to approve 16 applicants to begin to apply for provisional licensing in the cannabis industry to grow cannabis.
Right. And there were a couple of different things that they had to meet. Can you just quickly say they had to live in a certain area?
They had to live in a disproportionately impacted area. They had to meet an income. They could not surpass an income threshold. And the social equity applicant must own 65% of the company and must control the company as well. And those are the criteria that we looked at. So you had asked me earlier about a third party. We did bring on a third party accounting auditing firm to look at these applications and to make sure that that all of them met the criteria. It is a daunting task. There are many documents that have to be looked at, many documents that have to be reviewed to verify, and we wanted to ensure that this was done in a fair and equitable way, so we brought in the professionals.
Okay, all right, Ginne-Rae, thank you so much for joining us here on the Fox 61 Morning News. We're going to be following this entire process. It's very important to make sure that this is all done equitably, and this is only the beginning. We will send it back to you.